cannot speak to someone who works in Facebook to help me. So in that, you can address your issue that your WhatsApp has been hacked.
Okay.
Sorry, your Facebook account has been hacked.
So
they can really assist you. So you can't do it just on the normal Facebook.
Okay.
You have to get your Facebook business.
Okay.
Then you chat with live support, and they will assist you. Okay. We have to be very careful today, because you know all those processes that are really not fast. They are really not fast. Even chatting with a business person, it might take time. So we have to really understand that and have some security levels on Facebook. Facebook too. Now we are on Facebook, so let me just chip in this. Yeah. We have to always be checking this. You have to go on your settings, go to your security, check the devices logged in on your Facebook. You know now Facebook, I can link my Facebook to my TV and other stuff. Go and check the devices there. You have a lot of people, I've met a lot of people that their Facebook have been hacked and they don't know.
Other people are
using it.
Using their Facebook. Okay.
They are using it, but they don't know.
Okay, so check which devices have been logged
in. So if that device is not coming from you, right now, if I should go on my Facebook, maybe they will tell me, oh, iPhone 7. They
can boost. If I put an advert on my Facebook, they will give me between $300 and $1,000. Are they real?
Well, most of them are fake. They are fake.
Okay.
They are fake.
All right. Message here. Good morning. Thanks for the education. Hackers are worrying. I was a victim of these hackers. The hacker called me and said he would send me a group link, of which he himself is a member, and that group has been hacked. So he's going to create a new page, but through the link he's sending me. So after he sent me the link, I should give him the code, and immediately I gave him the code. My account was hacked. Keep educating. This is Kufu Gidira Ernest Akiko, watching us all the way from Elubo. So this is common, right?
Yeah, it's common. And we're coming to that. The link that was sent is called a phishing link. So they can create a phishing link. I can just create a phishing link now and send to you. We've been seeing that. That KFC is giving free food. MTN is doing that. The latest
one is Malcolm, which is, and I call it Malcolm PRO.
Yeah,
it's false.
It's false.
Yes.
Yes, we call them phishing links.
Yeah,
so when you click on that link, it will land you on a very nice interface.
Yeah.
Then you try to, what they will ask you is normally what we have to know today is any phishing link comes with these two things. A time bomb.
A time bomb?
Yes. Because I have opened a Metasploit. I'm a hacker there.
Who?
that is in our Kali environment.
Metasploit.
Yeah, Metasploit. So it's something that is in the Kali environment that every hacker really knows about this. So what you have to do is within that time, I've given myself 24 hours to do this attack. So I'm just behind my PC. I don't have much time. So I'll just create that. Malcolm is doing this for that, and I've given do this within from maybe 10 to 12 or within a day. So within that time, any logins that I have, when you're putting in your logins, I will see them on my Metasploit.
So be very careful. Good morning. This is Lukman. Just a week ago, I wanted to update my WhatsApp, but they asked me to try it in 13 hours. Should you be worried?
Yeah, so what you have to do is, if they are asking you to try in 13 hours, I don't know if he has done updating before, but if he hasn't, then he should be very careful. He should go through what we said, go to your WhatsApp and check and they have to put that two-factor authentication on it. It's very important. When you have it on it, normally what these hackers do is when they're able to come on your WhatsApp, they would rather go and put it on it. So they will prevent you lively on that because you don't have the OTP code, the code that will come to you. Even if you are trying to uninstall WhatsApp and install it back again, they will ask you of that two-factor code. You don't have it, so it doesn't belong to you anymore.
All right. Hashtag understood says, I really love the education on this topic. Excellent presentation by the young man, the youngest cyber crime fighter, DK. All right. 055-556-1034. A couple more messages before we wrap this up. Good morning. I had my email hacked before. It was not funny. How do you protect yourself against email hacking? Email hacking is
it's common now. So what you have to do is also there try to put your two-factor authentication on and try to introduce the habit of using strong password. We have a broad education on setting up strong password. People think their password, they can just use any numbers, any letters. We have to set strong password. Setting strong password have 3 elements. Your password must be unique. It might not be too much old or 3 months old or 6 months old. And it must be very, very clean. Long letters. With
how long? 36 letters?
No, so let's see. Your password must have upper letters, lower letters, must have numbers, must have those signs.
Like
art, exclamation marks and those things. So
lower signs.
Yeah, so we have to really combine those together to set strong password. You know, sometimes I can just look at your face and guess your password.
Guess my password.
What's your name?
Kafui.
Kafui 187.
Well,
but you know what?
I won't say what my password is.
Yeah, you wouldn't say it, but if you don't set strong password,
people can just check.
Even the systems, we have free open softwares there that can do that. We have something called dictionary attack. Dictionary attack is simple when you use dictionary words like David, like Richard, like Princess. They are in dictionary with numbers. They are all in the dictionary. So I can just do that and do a dictionary attack on you, and I'll just get your password.
Charlie, I'm learning things. Metasploit and the dictionary attack. Another one here. Good morning. Is it right for your partner to hack or monitor your messages on social media platforms, especially WhatsApp? This is Kweku Yeboah Bismarck, Toasis, SHS, Kumasi. I don't know about ethics.
We need a sway, and you know.
Feel the music in tune.
Ebusia padia chika, uye fro katechi. One year sway, ebusansani. Then someone for your radio. Mini museso nyamisi oyenia. When you mungwasi obeje muda. Adumunya mi yesi afrawe. One year church. Ya rich church, and you're ready. Ebusia padia chika, uye fro katechi. One year sway, ebusansani. Let's one for your radio. Minimum to Yamisi Oyenia. When you must see what better would die. I don't want Yami and the away. But near wretched wretched any radio. Benita Sway. Any on Yamio. Wretched any radio. Benita Sway. Any on your serious. Chill. To me be anywhere, a sinner when you come to me. Good morning to you all. Oh, me wo. Isi abro me kwae mo. You mu akroka ni kumi. E jonya mi e yesu ya frewo e. One me a try. Ya pusia bandi e chike. Uye ya frewo katechi. One yesu ya busanseni. And someone for your radio. Minimum says you miss you in here. When you want to see over Jamunda, I do Munyami, yes, you are far away. You're wretched, tree, and the radio, and Jamini Obiara, and he does sway, and he does swing, and he on your below. But wretched tree, and the radio, and Jamini Obiara, and he does sway. And you're not you. Come on, come on. I feel say na me dynamics ye me say me get to na me see ye kwa mi ko bi e ba me ba na benya se kan ya ma konta cause you see mo bi show bi be to me ya do my day na ma dipe ah ben me to so me chini bi yes I think I crave you body me Friday ba ku bi na ma club me na my way ba ku bi na ma church one corner one Ghana say what I see and then I'm I branch my bro me and kamada but me husika na me memo no aba na me memo no aba sha tedi pano anka manye ye tedi pano anka mendu fie e ka kete me de shebe ye e ka kete me de shebe ye tedi pano anka manye ye tedi pano anka mendu fie e ka kete me de shebe ye e ka kete me de shebe ye. Praise the Lord, hallelujah in the highest. Now I know not me, what say that know not me. All by your mercy and your grace, I am grateful. You turn my life around, now I'm a shining star. Last year at this time, I'm darling. When this is come to Panama plan, I know what I could do more routine I have it. Would you matter me come go to put back down? Oka ma sem de bia minti me de oka na see me I'm focused me pese me am me own boss and che one of it abemu go sem ben na manti they say my song be a real one and so men tell me I just am in kwa I know go run from me today them say they be na na me da say mama ta bongo so tiase tedi pano anka manye ye tedi pano anka menduke e ka kete me de shebe ye e ka kete me de shebe ye tedi pano anka manye ye tedi pano anka menduke e ka kete me de shebe ye e ka kete me de shebe ye. Praise the Lord, hallelujah in the highest. You're wide you know me or say you know me. All by your mercy and your grace, I am grateful. You turn my life around, now I'm a shining star. Come on.
Yes, and we're back. Didn't you just want that music to keep playing? Chin Chin Band entertaining us this morning, and they'll be back to serve us even more music. Do not go away. You don't want to miss what we have planned for you this Funky Friday on GTV Breakfast. That's the hashtag to follow. Thanks to our sponsors, Awake Mineral Water, Shield Acrylic Paint, and Adonko Next Level Energy Drink for partnering with us to bring you this show. We are powered online by gbcghanaonline.com. Follow our website www.gbcghanaonline.com. GBC, we are moving from bureaucracy to business. We are ready for business, and we know you can tell we are ready. So on this segment, we'll do the headlines. But before we get into the details of what made the top stories in the papers, let's monitor traffic situations around town. My colleague Jay Gabra is at Nima. Jay? So if you're going to go to market, you know where to get your car from. Jay is around the Nima area. Jay, what's happening there?
All right, so thank you, Thomas. So this morning I'm coming to you from the Nima Momobi market, and considering where I am, there's a lot going on this morning. It's been a very busy morning, and it's not even 8 o'clock. So this morning on Russia, I'll be bringing you scenes from this location. So for regular road users who are using the Nima, coming from Nima Junction towards Mamobi, your commute is relatively easy. Those are the road users behind me. You realize their road is kind of free. And then for those headed towards Mamobi, Accra Girls, towards the main Achimota Road, don't face that much of an obstruction as well. And then for those also coming from Mamobi, heading towards Nima, you realize that it's also smooth sailing for them. So today is a market day, and there are a lot of things happening around. People are going about their business. The Okada people, the taxi drivers, and I must say, for people who get here, because of the way the commercial vehicles are looking for passengers, it stalls traffic for a little bit. But it's just for a little bit, and then they continue. People are finding their way to maneuver around, and then they are finding their way past these vehicles. So these are the scenes I'm witnessing right now. There's a lot of noise. People who are also making us aware of vehicles that can take them to their destinations and all that. And then you have people also yelling in your ear, giving you advice. So the scenes right now are quite amazing. And this is where I'm reporting from this morning. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Jay, for those details. The people yelling in your ears, they really need to stop doing that because you're on live television. We've brought you traffic scenes from Nima, and that's our rush hour, one of what we'll have this morning. We are going to monitor traffic situations in other parts of the city, and we'll let you know what to expect before you step out by way of travel. Who knows, maybe we might be in your locality. On the headlines this morning, I'm seated as I am every Friday morning with a team of strong women representing the NDC and the NPP, and I'll start from my immediate left. Is Madame Angela Oforiwa-Lowute, MP for Afajato South. Ma'am, welcome.
Thank you.
And Madame Ellen Amadeko, member of the NPP National Communication Team. I got it right today. Welcome, ma'am.
Good morning, and thank you.
Right. So we're looking at what stories made it to the front pages of some of the newspapers, and this is the Business and Financial Times. Top story here: banking fraud cases hit 1 billion Ghana cedis in 2020, and that's what the Bank of Ghana is telling us. COVID-19 still remains a top story. Private sector credit remains sluggish amid COVID-19 fears. Access AFCFTA through Ghana, and government tells foreign investors. NLC push for permanent commissioners and decentralization. So the top story for the BFT is on the banking fraud, and they are telling us that 56% of banking sector fraud is aided by staff. So staff of banking companies. Does that come as a surprise to you? Let me start with you, Ma'am Angela.
Okay. Good morning to you and your staff and or your colleagues, everybody, and my constituents also. It doesn't come to me as a surprise because in every sector you have good and bad people. But my question here is, how were those people recruited? Were they any processes of checks, security checks on them, or they just applied, brought their CV, juicy CVs, and then got recruited. I think the most important thing for the banking sector or the employers to do now is to make sure that they rescreen the staff they have periodically. Their phones, well, they could also make sure that the kind of emails they use are purely based on what the sector uses. No private emails during working hours. There must be all sort of checks and balances during working hours and then also privately, because most of those negotiations of fraud could be happening outside the banking sector. But when the person comes in or whatever they send to them, the deal has already been done.
Right.
And so for me it's a worry that 50% of 56% or out of 100 are involved in this. And then when they get them, they should not spare them. They should make sure that they follow up to the court or they prosecute them to the letter, so that it will serve as a deterrent to those who want to do more of it.
So, Mama Ellen, apart from what the Bank of Ghana is saying, 56% of banking staff contributing or, helping the fraud to thrive, they're also saying that digital and electronic related transactions are the most worrying.
Yeah.
So the online systems are where these things are usually happening.
Good morning to you, and good morning to our viewers. And I don't know where to start from, because I have had personal issues with a lot of our banks. I'm one of those who keep on changing banks. I don't mind. In fact, if I notice anything fishy, I'm gone. So I have accounts in almost all the banks in Ghana, and I'll close it because it's obvious that it is not an outsider. Their systems are such that it will be very difficult for anybody who is not in the system to break into the system.
But there are hackers now.
That is, I said anybody. The hackers are specialized people. I was listening to they people actually sit down, and they are specialized group that we have laws dealing with them. But I'm talking about any ordinary Ghanaian or any ordinary person cannot break into a bank system. So definitely all the fraud will be aided by people in the banks. As Madam said, what sort of checks do we do nowadays when we are picking people into our banking systems? It's like we have liberalized everything, and everybody can apply and everybody can get in. Yeah. I mean, previously, before you become a banker, even as a cashier, the lowest, even cashier is a gateman, security person at a bank. The sort of security checks you go through. They will check your background. They will check where you come from, who your parents are, what was your character in school, were you a thief when you were young. All these checks were done. But now we don't. People just apply, and sometimes they don't even take those who apply. Their friends and family and daughters of the people who are working there,
whom you know.
And yesterday somebody was asking me, have I ever seen Bank of Ghana, with all due respect, ever putting out an advert that they want people? So who are the people who get in there? And the fraud, they are talking about the fraudulent company, but Bank of Ghana itself should check itself, because they are the topmost, they have the, with all due respect, the topmost fraudulent people in Ghana. All the banking sector mess that went on, all the banks that didn't have the right licenses, were they not aided in the Bank of Ghana? Were they not aided there? Were they not the ones who started it? Were they not the ones whose supervisory department was in a mess? So yes, they can be complaining about the other banks, but they themselves, as the government regulator, they have a problem. Yesterday, the court case they won against this company, I heard they have sacked about 2 or 3 of their directors for aiding and abetting.
There's a portion of the report, according to the BFT, that says that the type of fraud which saw the highest involvement of staff is the suppression of cash. And explain, they say that's where a staff takes cash from customers but does not record the full amount in the books, and tries to balance it off with deposits made by other customers. And it shows 78.6% of all cash suppression cases reported in 2020 had involvement of the staff.
As I said, it's difficult. And I don't understand this thing. What is suppression of cash? Have you been heard of it before?
They're saying that when the teller takes money from the depositors, they use those monies to balance out some that they've already given out. So they are saying a staff takes cash from customers but does not record the full amount in the books and tries to balance it off with deposits made by other customers. I've experienced instances where the little coins behind the monies that you go to withdraw are not given to you. And so once that piles up, 15 pesos from this person, I don't have 10 pesos, there's no 1 peso, and then that piles up if you have how many number of people coming in. I'm tempted to think that it's something like that they are trying to refer to. I'm no banking expert, but that's another really serious thing, and it begs the question: what's being done?
No, the story is not clear. If I bring you my money, let me use you as a tailor. I bring you my cash, maybe 100 Ghana.
Takes cash from customers.
Okay, 100 cedis, and then you give me my slip. We can see this on. Are they saying that at the end of the day, the counter, is it a counter for, the counter for has 90 cedis on it?
The staff does not record the full amount in the books. And so tries to balance it off with deposits made by other customers.
Then it means there is something wrong with their own system, because we all know that now when you go to the bank, for instance, ABSA, they key everything and give you a printout of it. So what are they trying to say?
And they
is it the manual ones?
An e-alert,
an e-alert, yes.
A text message.
So are they trying to say that maybe most of the banks are still going through the manual ways or means,
they find ways and means,
or they find ways and means around the system? And so for me, they should come clear. You see, we have a problem. The problem is about leadership. And if I say leadership of these various banks, you've been recruited to do a piece of job. And so they should be held
they themselves, the regulator, they are blaming the incidence of fraudulent activities on inadequate vetting processes, as you both alluded to, poor remuneration, weak systems, among others. So I come back to the question, what's being done?
When you say poor remuneration, what are you talking about? They pay them more than a lot of Ghanaian workers. They pay them so much. So are they trying to tell us that some people take a quarter of it is not even enough for you to continue to do your work and serve your family, or feed your family and serve this nation and eat the people in this country? I disagree. They should go and put their house in order. They should. You see, it's a shame they've put this here.
They've made some recommendations.
And you should bring them here and come and answer questions.
My producer taking notice of it. Probably panel is saying bring Mr. Addison here to answer some questions in relation to the Bank of Ghana report, and we'll need like a serious financial assessment of the whole process,
and we'll listen to them and judge them accordingly.
But they have made recommendations, and it's saying to address the problem, the Bank of Ghana has recommended that, among other things, contract or temporary staff or financial institutions should be adequately vetted by the police and Bank of Ghana to help identify staff with questionable characters. You've made that call yourself.
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
it's on course.
There are some sectors of this economy I think we should take serious, and the banking sector is one of them. I cannot go put my money in the bank, work so hard, go under the sun and go and work. I'm talking about the women who sell. I do sell, so I understand how difficult it is. I make my money, come and put it in the bank where I know it is supposed to be safe. I could have put it under my bed. I decided to bring it to the bank. And then you get somebody who, when the person was in secondary school, was a thief for stealing her colleagues or his colleagues' things in school, and has been recorded. And these things are there. If they want to know, they will know. You have to do background checks. There are some work you are doing. We have to go all the way from your character in primary school, because these are traits that people build on. And it tells
people
you
change as well.
Yes, I agree. But I mean, if the person has consistently from class 6 been stealing,
the person could change. Anyway.
Yes, you could change, but then you look at it once or twice.
But how many people in class 6 who have such characters are reported officially?
Sometimes, some of the schools now they keep records of your child's character. Look at the reports,
they were not keeping
the school reports that they do. If the child is, I mean, continuously. I'm talking about character building. This is not one-off event. So you realize that the person has that character, and it has run through his or her records over the years. What I'm trying to say is that we do not check. People can change, but you do not put people who have certain traits in certain places. You do not tempt people. Because with the salary, some of these banks, the way they pay their people, or even temporary staff, my dear, you have no idea.
But the Bank of Ghana is insisting that temporary staff are not paid well.
So why are they?
So why are they there then?
The labor law has, I think the labor law states clearly that after a certain number of months,
6 months,
you cannot continue to keep an employee as a temporary staff. So then it means that they themselves are breaking the law.
Bank of Ghana is in trouble on the panel this morning.
So I mean, honestly, the number of women who have lost their monies in this banking fraud, and you go and check, it's a lot of them is women whose capital is so small,
1,000 Ghana,
and then
500.
It makes a lot of difference to them. But and you get these bankers who do not live within their means, and even when they finish picking them, how do they check their lifestyle? Because it is obvious somebody's pay grade. You are always on the case of the politicians. You are always on the case of the politicians. Article 71 holders, asking them questions why somebody should have a V8. If you are a banker and you are at a certain level, and the sort of jewelry you wear, I'm talking about the women, the sort of, I mean, your output tells you that your pay cannot hold. We should be asking you questions. We should start asking certain questions in this country.
But not all sources of wealth are illegal.
And so you declare. Yes. You declare every source of where you get your money from.
No, but let me also come in here and state that today you can see a very beautiful jewelry, and it's not expensive. So we cannot judge them by that. But what we can judge them with is that, not even judging them, they must be investigated periodically. Their emails must be checked. The official emails, I mean, their way of life, the way they go about things, they must have some kind of supervision.
And it's one of the things the Bank of Ghana is calling for, that even the customers should be educated on cyber security, so they know how to keep their banking details safe, so they are not hacked and then their monies can be safe as well. It's another
way of but then they must also
bringing the situation under control.
There is something they have introduced for some time now, relationship managers. And so if, assuming she's my relationship manager, and I have a problem, where do I go first?
To her.
To her. And so the relationship managers must be trained properly to work together with the cashier in a very good way, so that nobody's money is lost. It is difficult to get money or make money in this country, and so nobody should take advantage of the poor, the vulnerable in society. That would just bring 1,000 Ghana for safekeeping and ends up going into somebody's
so
pocket.
both of you are on the same page on this one. I'm glad to see. So we've managed to find some ground. Let's move on to another story that the Ghanaian Times captured this morning, and it's talking about disasters. It says disaster looms. Thieves steal 50 kilometers railway tracks. An estimated $250 million lost. 10 arrested, 4 jailed. That's the Ghanaian Times. There's a picture of the suspects. We see that on the screen now. And they are stealing the railway tracks. I'll start with you on this, Ellen.
This thing started off as scrap dealers who go around picking little piece of metals in a neighborhood. Or they'll come knocking on your door if you have some things you want to dispose of that have metal and things they were picking. They started years ago. So you see these young boys going around picking it. And then they graduated from that. to removing coverts.
And even the Adome Bridge.
Yes,
still,
coverts on gutters. So you go to the bus stop at Tesekwashi when you're on your way to East Legon. You know what's the name of that area where the police killed the armed robbers just last week? That's very bus stop. Look at all the gutters, the gutter there. All the covers have been taken off. So if you are even parking and you are not careful, your tire will hit. Or even if you are a pedestrian, you get down the bus stop and you don't watch yourself, you go straight into the gutter. Now they have graduated to the railway lines that we are using our taxpayers' monies to service the loans that we are going for to do these railways. And when you look at the weight of those, it is pure iron bars. Yeah. And there was, I think, was it about 2 months ago that there was a video on social media where one gentleman was screaming on them because they were practically there with tools taking them. Yes, so as the railway company is laying it, they are following them and they are taking. What sort of Ghanaians are we? God created Ghanaians. That's the government, subsequent governments all over these years. We are putting everything into place to make sure that our rail systems start working so that we don't kill ourselves on the roads. We stop competing on the roads with these big trucks. And $250 million has gone down the drain due to these. Look at their faces. These people.
So we are talking about, we've discussed banking fraud here. Okay. Here's a comment that said, please, I want to use myself as an example. I save at Access Bank because I am not educated. I was told I'm doing poly insurance, whereby I don't even know anything about it. Every month, they take 150 from my account. And when I got to know that they've taken more than 1,000, when I noticed and I went to cancel, I was told if I cancel, I've lost everything. Please, a lot of banks are frauding us. You didn't send us your name, but I'm sure there should be some kind of resolution. So it all feeds into the banking fraud conversation. But Angela, what are your thoughts on monitoring the expansion works or the rehabilitation works that are going on the railway tracks? Is it even possible to monitor it effectively so we prevent some of these things?
Let me go back to the Access Bank issue. There is a video on social media from Nigeria. In fact, the armed robber who spoke in that video said that the easiest bank to rob, not with guns, but with IT skills, is Access Bank. I am not by this saying that it's not a good bank, but then they must actually look at what they do. About the railway lines, may I know if the story is telling us that these 50 kilometers of metals or steel or iron bars that were stolen by these 4 guys?
They just said 10 people have been arrested and 4 have been jailed.
Nobody can monitor these railway lines in the bush. It will be very difficult to do. If we had the trains, the trucks running, that would have been some form of deterrent, or it would have prevented them in a way from stealing, because you don't know when the next train is coming. And so that, but because the rail lines are free, so idle.
But rehabilitation works have to
complete. But they do it track by track. I mean, they don't just take all the tracks and start working on them. They take the tracks one after the other. And so by that, let me first of all condemn it. It's a bad behavior. It's not worth talking about. This has caused a lot of financial loss to the state.
Yes, because the story is telling us 1 kilometer of railway construction is estimated at $5 million.
You see,
so the 50 kilometers that they've stolen, yes, that's what gave us 250. And the areas, so this took place over several months, and they are saying that the lines were from Edriso, Konongo, Jaso, Obuase, Dunkwa, Prestia, Akrokeri, Kase, Asafo, and Aswase.
Yes, we condemn it. And these 10 gentlemen should be dealt with. They should not just go to court, go back to is it for remand or whatever, back and forth without being sentenced quickly. The justice must be delivered swiftly to serve as a deterrent. Now, what they have done, they have taken us back 20 years because this 250 something million Ghana cedis or dollars could have been used to construct a new, maybe 100 or 50 kilometers of a new railway line. But now we have to use that same money to repair it. So, and then they must look for the buyers also, those who buy it, because assuming they do not have people who patronize their goods or these iron bars, they wouldn't go stealing them. So the investigation must extend to the buyers, and then the buyers must also pay for their actions for buying such stolen products.
There's a portion of the story that I find quite interesting, ladies, and it's saying that the thieves, it was revealed, cut the rail about 40 feet into pieces with specialized machines and cut them during the night to sell to scrap dealers. So, and then it brings, and what you said into perspective, that they are using this as a graduation of the scrap dealership. But if you're using specialized machines to cut into steel, someone will hear something.
It depends on where the rail lines are.
In the forest.
All the rail lines are in the bush, most of them.
The forest.
The one that goes through my village, it goes through
but they will not
the
come.
People's Republic of Upa, somewhere in the Amasaman area.
But then before you get there, I mean, most of the where they have been stealing from. They are the railway lines they are trying to build for transportation of bauxite.
Bauxites, yeah.
And bauxite transportation is not done in town.
It's always
and so before you would even hear that some specialized, you would not, who is going into that forest to go and check in the middle of the night? So these people are what I call armed robbers, because that is exactly what they are doing to us. So you actually get up from your house, carry equipment, specialized equipment, go into this forest and go and cut iron bars.
And you know,
you are, I don't know the name to give you.
And they won't sell, they won't, in fact, when you want...
I bet the president will say you are not a citizen.
He has said it very nicely. I have other words for them. You are a traitor. Because that's exactly what it means. This is money we could have used to pay school feeding caterers. This is money we could have used to build more hospitals.
And then this 50 kilometers of iron that they stole, if you ask them how much they made out of it, I'm not sure they would have made even $1 million.
Well,
and so the punishment must be severe to serve as a deterrent to all of
right.
us.
It looks like we're talking a lot of business this morning, and the Vice President is also in the news in the Ghanaian Times. Government, labor unions must work to create conducive business environment, and the Vice President expressed these sentiments at the 11th Quadrennial Delegate Conference of the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union at the University of Professional Studies in Accra. So yesterday, the Vice President graced that event, and he said the government and labor unions must work together. Looking at it from the perspective of the recent unrest that we've seen in pockets of the labor front, with UTAG and the going on strike being suspended, NLC is in court. Surely this must be a good call. I'll start with you.
I don't think the labor unions have not been working with governments in this country. They have always worked with them. But the question is, have they been giving any listening ears, or how far have their promises been, how do I say it?
Government
promise, promise to do ABC. Have they kept to it? Anytime we have this type of situations in this country, it is just because meetings have been held, promises have been made, and nothing is done about them. In fact, I'm happy he made this call because he's a vice president of this country. They should just listen to them. They should make sure that they negotiate with them. We all know that times are very hard, and if they ask for A and you can't give A, tell them you can do B and deliver on it. But if you tell them you can do B and you don't give it to them, that is where the unrest starts from. Well, that is where the agitations start from. So for me, I think it's in order, but the bar stops with them. That is the government.
Even beyond the labor unions, the vice president said they cannot say that the suffering of Ghanaians is totally eliminated, but they can point to specific policy interventions that have mitigated the suffering of the people. And he mentioned 750,000 public sector workers who have been recruited. So jobs created in the 2020, and he talked about 84,183 which have been recruited under the forest plantation program. So many numbers, teaching and non-teaching staff, people who have been brought under the Youth Employment Agency, male entrepreneurs with disability. He mentioned the number of interventions which he says go towards mitigating the suffering, not necessarily of labor unions, but of Ghanaians in a broader sense. Do you think he has a fair point?
I don't think he has a fair point. If GBC recruits me today or engages me to do a piece of job for them, and after working for 6 months, you've not paid me, what have you done? It means I'm back to where I was. In fact, the numbers that are being thrown about, it's only God knows whether they are right or not. Where I sit, even if you recruit 1 million people and you can't pay them, their monthly, what is due them every month. The youth in afforestation, we've heard them complaining, boycotting work, they don't go because they have not been paid. The youth in, which one? The one you just mentioned?
Youth Employment
Employment, the Zoom line, they have not been paid for months. And so whereas we, and he and myself, take our salaries monthly, they are sitting there not giving what is due them. And so for me, the call shouldn't have been made here. He should have put his government in order and then make sure that these people are paid even before this conference or wherever this meeting takes place. Look, the situation is terrible. Go to the assemblies and see them. They sit at the receptions. Let me talk about my assembly. They don't go. They sit there because they are helpless. They have not been paid for months. If you like, make a call and check the recent salaries they got. And so we thank them. They said they have recruited this number of people, 700,000. We give them the praise for it. But pay them. Give them what is due. The teachers, those who are teaching, some of them will have to take motorbikes to their schools. And in my constituency, in fact, the highest is subsidies from one location to another to go to school in a very deprived area. You haven't even given me my 700 cedis. And you want me to go and borrow and take a car back and forth or in and out for 24 cedis? Then, of course, I'll sit home. Any day you give me, I'll go. Or if I'm able to find 2 days in a week, I'll go. That is why the teachers are not there. And so for me, we thank them. But the labor unions too, we just have to appeal to them that they shouldn't wait till last minute before. There must be that engagement with government. They must be able to work with them in a back and forth. Please, time is running out. Let's do ABC. If they are not listening, do a press conference. Let us all hear what has been happening in there. Because at the end of the day, it's as if they are being blamed for not doing their job. And they must also pay attention to the workers who work at some of the places. In some of the factories, the condition of work is terrible.
Let me pick your thoughts on what you've heard your colleagues say and relating that to what the Vice President has said in the story captured in the Ghanaian Times.
So the Vice President says we have given employment to a few, well, not a few, quite a number.
750,000 public sector workers have been recruited.
And I think recruitment is still going on. They just opened for the immigration service, the police service, and I think the fire service. And I know the ambulance service is also picking. It is government's duty to open up the system for people who are so qualified to apply and be taken. Well, we do need these services. as a government and as a country. And it is definitely government's duty to also pay them. But as we all know, we've all been going through a crisis for the past 1 year. So definitely some of the payments have been delayed. But I beg to disagree with her in terms of the fact that if you're sitting at home and you don't have a job, there's a big difference between you and somebody who has been recruited. At least the person has an appointment letter. The person knows that government may have delayed in my payments, but my payment will come, including your back pay and everything.
But until then?
Until then, I do agree that there's a lot of hardship in the system. But there's a great difference between you who have been assured of a job, you get up, you go to a job, and somebody who does not have a job. And that is one of the problems we are trying very hard to solve. Because when we came into power, we had vast numbers of young people who had been home for years without being picked into the public services. And if you do remember, we had a Graduate Unemployment Association. And for years, we haven't picked anybody into the public services because of the IMF, whatever business we went to put ourselves in. So if government has made the effort and has opened up the system and is taking people, excellent news. Those who have not been paid will definitely be paid. Going forward, we need to put our public services and civil services together. We've been trying to do this for years. If you remember during ex-President Kufuor's time, Papa Kwesi Ndum was, I think, the minister in charge of public services, something. That was when he tried to put clocking system in our ministries, where you have to clock in when you come to work and when you leave. You know, the whole system, the people themselves sabotaged the system. So as much as the government and subsequent government would do everything possible to make sure that our public services and our social services and our civil services work, we, the workers in it, we are also a problem. What's the time now? It's almost 8 a.m. I can bet you that some civil servants, today is Friday, some civil servants, some public servants will not show up for work today. Even if they do show up, they'll come very late. We are all part of the system.
There's a certain name for it. I don't want to say it.
We are all part of the system. So yes, the Vice President can't talk about what the government has done so far, the successes of the government. And Madam and her group can also talk about the issues that we are having, which is excellent. That's why the democracy is there. But when these two political parties, when we talk about it, the rest of the country, and therefore the civil servants and the public servants who are the beneficiaries of the system should also do their part. So I do agree that for some months now, some salaries are in arrears. I think 3 months, 4 months, no, and some are as much as 6 months.
9 months.
All those ones would be addressed. And if, of course, they have the way they go through the fact that you are paid today does not mean you are going to be paid today. You know, you have to go through the whole service, the whole system. And it will be addressed. So definitely, we are making a lot of efforts to get our young people employed. Then looking at the factory situations, as she's talking about, as we are pushing industry to make the situation safe for the workers, we will beg the workers to also come down on the thievery and the things that we do to sabotage our industries, especially Ghanaian-owned industries.
Surely you would agree with that, with that last point she made.
Yes, I agree with her, but let me come in here. If employment is about giving appointment letters, then you should give me one. Okay? Then I come to your house, clean your house, do everything, and sit there without salary. If that is what it means. That is not it. We are also talking about a certain category of workers. In fact, you did mention them. National forestry and those people.
Forest plantation
That is where the president and
health
the vice
and medical personnel,
yes, that's where they claim they have
teaching and
a chunk of numbers, or the numbers. I mean, they have more numbers that they recruited in those areas. And that is the area that is suffering. The people are suffering. I'm actually quoting Baumia. The people are suffering. They are not being paid. I'm talking like him now. And so what I am saying is that it is not about appointment letter. It is not about, after all, after a while they will be paid. How will I survive? If I know I have no piece of job, I can go and clean or sell something and make money. But if you have given me a job and you are not giving me my salary, I cannot sit here and say, after all, because I've given you a job, to hell and nothing. I mean, we will pay you later. So with what she said finally about we also knowing what to do, is it not giving? It's a matter of give and take, okay? I'm working. The place is hot. I'm dying. My health is deteriorating. I shouldn't complain. I will complain.
But the Vice President has admitted that they've tried to do, the government has tried to do its best despite the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on cash flows around the world, and that it has undoubtedly led to hardships being faced by some Ghanaians who have lost jobs because companies have folded up, they've had to downsize. And
yes, jobs have been lost due to in some actions of the government. Jobs have been lost due to COVID. Jobs have been lost due to financial issues or like collapse of certain institutions. So that is a general issue we are facing. Right. But the issue here is that the man is talking about a certain number of people that have been recruited. And I'm saying that, yes, you claim you've recruited them. We don't even have ways of checking. The immigration service, look, they have recruited and recruited and recruited, or recruited a lot of people. Yes, they're recruiting the youth. Go to my border and see. A job that could be done by 10 people, there are about 20 or 30 people there. We must also recruit in a way that the public purse will be protected. Not just the fact that we want numbers, or because we want family and friends to be recruited, as she mentioned earlier on when we were discussing the beauty matter.
Mamelen, I'll give you a few seconds to respond and then move to our next topic quickly. So we have
no institution would recruit now if they do not need the people. We've been screaming our heads off about our borders. We've been screaming our heads off about the security situations that we are facing, especially on our porous borders, all over Ghana. So most definitely the immigration service does need the people. That's why we are taking them. In fact, the money is not even enough. The clearance that they were given to pick, I think, 5,000 or 6,000 people. According to the immigration service, they need over 10,000 officers to do this work. What she's talking about, people being placed, one person or 3-5 people being placed at a place to do one person's job. Is she part of the immigration service? Has the immigration service complained? They are the ones doing their
because my taxes
and they say that this
for no work done, I have to complain.
We need so much people in such an office to do this.
They don't.
You are not an immigration officer. Neither are you part of the administration.
Right.
If you sit here and tell me that they are not needed at their job,
I gave a specific example.
Okay.
I didn't make a general statement.
10 seconds.
Let me tell you, if the border I have was what I cited as an example. And if you are saying that the porous borders need to be protected, do you dump several people at one location and leave the place empty?
Okay, so you may disagree on certain details. What you cannot disagree with is that there's a protest going on right now in Aflao, and the people there are asking for the land border to be reopened so that economic activity. Someone has sent us a photograph from there, and the producers will work on. We want to see scenes from there as they are unfolding. We'll keep that situation
Let me also
open.
come in
move on
here
quickly to my final topic, and then if you want to use a few more seconds to address it.
Okay.
I'll start with you, because I'm sure you've seen this story about the Bank of Ghana's victory in the arbitration.
I'm not privy to it, but if you read that.
So, following the Bank of Ghana's victory in the arbitration filed against Ghana by Sipton Switch Systems Limited in London, scores of Ghanaians on social media platforms have called on the government to set up a public inquiry to establish how the nation was being shortchanged by persons entrusted with the responsibility of protecting the public purse. In a press statement from the Bank of Ghana, the management, after taking over in 2017, saw the need to review the sweetheart deal given to Sipton by the Mahama administration. The contract was abrogated as the cost was determined to be outrageously high, SIPTON petitioned the London International Court of Arbitration seeking a relief totaling $478 million from the respondent, the Bank of Ghana. So this one, the ABC News is titling this Mahama's 4.6 billion SIPTON switch interoperability scandal, Ghanaians call for public inquiry. So saying that during the Mahama administration, a contract was awarded. In 2017, it was found to be, according to the paper, outrageously high. And now the Bank of Ghana has won that case after taking it to London for arbitration.
It has been terminated.
It has been.
Okay. So it means that this money will not be paid. I remember Ameri is in my mind. If they think, or they felt at that point that the contract sum was too high, and of course it needed to be reviewed or terminated, and they have a reason for it, fine, we thank God. But may I know if this particular work will be executed in future? My prayer, if yes, then my prayer is that it should not be like Ameri.
So anytime, contracts and abrogations come up, we find both sides making references. Oh, and this person did this and this government did that.
We were told that Ameri, the contract sum was too much and that it was reviewed, or it was going to be reviewed. It came out higher. And so if at the end of the day, this contract that was terminated and then the case won by BOG will not be re-awarded at a higher cost, then we thank God. That means that our public purse is eventually going to be protected. But if it's going to be the reverse, then of course there was no need for this. And so let us all put an eye on this and follow up on this story vividly or seriously, so we get to know the new contract sum for because I'm sure that piece of job would definitely have to be done.
Right. Aunt Helen,
that job has been done.
Because I don't know much about the story.
That job is the interoperability. Yes, I keep on twisting my tongue.
Interoperability.
Yes, and that is for, let's explain it. The fact that you can, one of the things is you can send money across networks. Yeah. Previously, you could not send from MTN to Vodafone. And you couldn't also send across, I don't know, only MTN to MTN.
So Vodafone at what cost now?
To Vodafone. It was in 2017 when the MPP came into power. Apparently, that contract had been awarded to Mr. Roland Agambi of whatever, I've forgotten the name of his company. What's the name of his company? SIPTON. For 4.6 billion Ghana cedis. Now, this whole system was built in 2018, 2017, 2018 for just under 4 million Ghana cedis, or $4 million.
Yeah,
so when 4.6
billion Ghana cedis.
The original cost was over 100 billion Ghana cedis. And now it has been built for less. I mean, how many times? 33 times less. And it was built by a Ghanaian company, by Ghanaian young men. And the system is working perfectly.
Okay.
So this company, when the contract was abrogated, decided that they did not understand. So they took the Bank of Ghana to the Court of Arbitration in the UK. And the court has ruled in favor of Ghana. And you should read the judgment. Some of the things that the judge said in the judgment tells on the integrity of the leaders of Bank of Ghana at that time who signed that contract. Because it really tells on it.
You can't
so it's not a matter of I'm not being privy. Bank of Ghana has brought out the details.
The scope of work will be different.
So I could get into the details, but because of the time constraints, we already way over time.
You see, if you've given me a piece of job to maybe paint this place, yes, painting has been done. But if you want my painting to extend to the top,
And
they did not do their job. That is the point.
No, we are not talking about whether they do the job.
They
did the job or not.
No, the contract was given to
we are talking about the scope of work. What was the scope of work during Bahama time? They must tell us. You understand?
And you should know. By now, your communication team should have given you all the details of what happened during the...
Can you let me land?
No.
Because the point, the point is that I didn't read this story before coming here. Okay. And I did admitted from the beginning that I am not too privy to this because I haven't read it in a while.
There's quite a lot of
if you are
details.
just pushing out or throwing out words, that it was done at 4.6 billion, and then 4.6 billion. I'm also making a point that what was the scope of work?
Ladies,
when you were talking, I was not talking.
I think we will just...
When you were talking, I was not talking. What was the scope of work? If the scope of work remains the same, then we know that it is... It could have saved us that money. It couldn't have been with the same scope of work, madam. It couldn't have been. And so I will go and read the contract.
I am
saying that it couldn't have been.
Well, I have seen it. And I'm telling
you my judgment on your judgment.
I think we'll just wrap up this segment now. You've been watching the headlines on GTV Breakfast. There's more to expect in this package. And in Chim Chim Band is still on standby to give us some lovely music, and they'll come and play some more for you after the break. We'll be back to do Rush Hour.
And so I couldn't read it.
Lots of energy on the table this morning. Thank you so much to my female panel, Madam Angela Ofrewa-Loute, MP, Afajato South, and Madam Ellen Amadeko, member NPP National Communication Team. They've been sharing their thoughts with us on the stories that made headlines of some of the papers this morning, and we've had quite a vibrant exchange this morning, and a few of your messages. Good morning, Thelma. Listening to your panel on employment issue, especially youth employment. I feel like they don't understand the whole employment system. The Ghana government cannot create jobs and absorb this endemic youth employment. So that's quite a lengthy message there. Usually just add your name and we'll try to read that. There was a message from Adjoa Henkel. Adjoa, I'm trying to find your message. It says here, good morning, BFS. My set is always on GTV these days. So much fun. We are lucky to have you. We are blessed to have you, and keep watching GTV Breakfast. The hashtag you should follow is GTV Breakfast. And our WhatsApp number on your screen, 05555 61034, and follow our social media handles as well. We're streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, and on YouTube. Right now, we'll get to our special segment, which we call Keep an Eye. And it's that segment where we bring issues in communities to the fore. My colleague, Daryl Allen, is around Abokobi, and he will tell us what's happening there. Daryl.
Hi, good morning, Thelma, and good morning, and welcome to GTV Breakfast. We're currently at the Agbogloshi Yam Market. Yes. It's not long ago, and the Yam Market was relocated from here to Ajen Kotoku as part of the Greater Accra Regional Minister's agenda to make Accra work again. It'll interest you to know that, as always, there seemed to be this whole move them out, but no alternative plan to what to use the place for. And so you will find in your shots behind me that slowly the place is becoming a landfill site. People has actually found an alternative use for the land if government will not use it for anything. Rubbish is currently being brought here. People are carting rubbish from wherever they get them and bring them here and dispose them off. You have all sorts. Apart from that, the land itself with the clearing has also benefited people who live beyond Kolebu, Ayigbe town and its environs around the stretch of Abosokai. They use that as a shortcut from that part of town to access the Agbogloshi market, possibly the Kantamanta market, and the rest of them. Some of the shots you will see, especially the aerial shots, will give you the landfill site, and you will find a few young men, whatever their business is, using pickaxe and spade, digging and doing all sorts. You'll also find in your shot, in the distant shot, you will see a few of the pedestrians crossing from Ayigbe town into this part of town. One other thing you will note is that you have goats and sheep around here. Telma, the market for the yam sellers has moved, but yam business still persists. And the goats you see in your shot, these are also on sale. Interesting how that is, because if these are here, nobody can tell who will join them next. Do not be deceived that the yam sellers has been moved on. Upon our arrival here, we found not at least 3 trucks of loading yam to Aboboya, and these Aboboya will also move it on further and distribute to young men who sell them on their arms, hawk them along the street. And so the yam market in its bigger size has been moved on, but yam business still goes on around Agbogloshi from trucks and from Aboboya. Again, you will find in your shots signs that says no parking, yet there seems to be a certain disregard to what the sign is. You could count not at least 10 trucks parked next to the no parking. It is really very worrying to think that there are signs here clearly that says no parking. There's also a lot of work gone into ensuring that the place is cleared. But if we clear and we have no plan whatsoever what we're going to use the land for, then obviously what we are seeing, landfill sites, small markets, are springing up. And this is where we'll ask authorities who are in charge of this particular stretch of Accra or the old market this key question: what next after the yam market is gone? What are we going to do with the land? It's becoming not only a landfill site, but also provides opportunity for football training. We can see a few young men playing football even at this time of the day. This is what we have come to find when the yam market, or as the yam market has been moved away. Back to you in the studio, Thelma.
Scenes we are seeing from the Agbogloshi area of town, and Darryl has just been painting a picture for us about what has happened to that space that was once occupied by the onion sellers who have been moved to Ajenkutuku and other markets towards Kaswa, and he's saying it is fast becoming a landfill site. Others are using it to sell goats and offload yam, and he's asking the question of what happens to the site now that the onion market has been moved from that place. So the AMA, the Greater Accra Regional Minister's Office, I'm sure are watching us, and they will act appropriately as they've always done. Anytime we've been to a community and we've raised an issue on this Keep an Eye segment, change has come very, very quickly. So we are very confident that this will be the exact same thing. If you've just joined us, you've missed quite a bit already, but there's so much more to enjoy. Today on the show, we have Nchim Band, and they are entertaining us with some wonderful music. So let's take a break. Let's enjoy this fun-filled Friday edition of GTV Breakfast, and we'll be back with more conversations on falling from grace to grass. We'll be back.
Live from GBC Studio 1. This is the Breakfast Show.
Oh yeah! I'll miss me dark. I'll miss me bad. Been I can tell me this is no one I'm in the bay. We must see game no one I'm in the bay. Been I can tell me this is no one I'm in the bay. Oh my grandma, no one I'm in the bay. I feel me bo, I feel me bo, I feel me bo. Pune, I feel me bo, I feel me bo, I feel me bo. Pune, inimio, hopuno inimio, inimio, feel me bo, inimio, hopuno inimio, inimio, feel me bo. And you my head to be now being cut to your sin. Inimio, family boy. Inimio, family boy. When I can't tell me this is no one I'm in the bell. For more I pay more, no one I'm in the bell. When I can't tell me this is no one I'm in the bell. For more I pay more, no one I'm in the bell. Or don't come with the meal, or don't think that you're, or don't fever about me. I'm a me why a shield, I'm a me why a shield. That's so I want you new. Inimio, hopuno inimio, feel me bo. Inimio, hopuno inimio, feel me bo. Inimio, hopuno inimio, feel me bo. Inimio, hopuno inimio, Abusia be free with your bed, your bravo, you know. If you don't be as a gun of mine, you're a waka quetio. I can't come say, maybe I will see you. Achieving the winner, I'm up for just so I will be. That's my bushy, I'm up for your body. Oh, I can't tell my decent self, never mind any venue. And so, Baba, free seven man, over the Tibani, I'm a TV, members who are not go. I'm quite no man, made a look about for the end. The any I'm a TV, members who are not go. I'm quite no man, I don't make, I don't make. I'm quite no man, members who are not go. If I'm a TV, if I'm a brilliant child. Many I'm a TV, members who are not go. I'm quite no me, I don't make when I don't be. I'm quite no my, members who are not go. Saying and I'm doing my dancing walk. I'm on for best of all but they made it to me fool. Or your sons and idiot before the company meeting at us. Then so bad man, oh, Brenda, Charles Antiva, Ghana Video City, Charles CAGD, Peter Family Cherry Bio, Obama, I'm a Obama, Timani, I'm a TV. The rest of one I'm go. I can't no man, but if you cover for the the any of it to be there, the rest of one I'm go. I can't no make, I don't make when I don't make. I can't no mind, the rest of one I'm go. If I'm a teeny, if I'm a bringing tail, too many I'm a TV, the rest of one I'm go. I can't no make, I don't make. When I know me, I'm kind of mine. The rest of I'm good. Oh, yeah. Hey. Yeah, now me pay. Man, come forward to me so. I feel what's stressing, I mean, Taiwo. Sikana ya Francie, they too so to a trip, mammo. Ma when in brio, when in brio, when in brio. Business security, the day will come in your tiao. And met tatamio, and tatamio, ooh. Mama, you many, baby, many, yatty, and yet.
Yes. Just watching the band, and by the way, follow them on Instagram, in Chinchim. If you spell in Chinchim, I'll spell it for you. NKYIMKYIM. I think the bassist always has the most fun. The bassist has always the most fun. That's just my theory. But if you think other people are having more fun, let me know. Great music. This is hashtag GTV Breakfast. Still come conversations with coffee and tea. So it's a musical morning. Thank you very much, Space Clotte and Manfred, for watching the show. And now, please take this number down because I know you're going to be sending me lots of messages. We are getting pictures from Aflao also about what's happening with Open the Land Borders discussion, the demonstration happening right now. So thanks for those pictures. Now, 055-556-1034 is our WhatsApp number. Save it on your phone. So the next conversation is one you really want to be following. So from international entertainer to death row inmate number 165/96 to pastor and evangelist, and now to author of the book From Fame to Shame. If you're wondering who I'm talking about, take a look at this video, and I'll be back to speak with our guest right here on GTV Breakfast. Stay with us.
Sunshine music, let's go.
Beautiful music, great vibe. A lot of people didn't even know that it was a Ghanaian who performed that song and entertained us so many, many years ago. He's my guest right now on GTV Breakfast. Remember, the WhatsApp number is 055-556-1034. G-Love, G-Man. Good morning. Welcome to GTV Breakfast.
Good morning, sir.
It's such a delight to have you on the show. What goes to your mind when you see that video, High Life in G Major? What goes to your mind?
I was so skinny at that time, and when I watched the video, I kind of laughed. I said, "Boy, I was skinny."
Who composed that song?
The lyrics was written by me, and the instrumental was done by a Beninua musician called Wale Badaru.
And I hear the beginning of that song in a video, Eva by Jay Martin's a hit. And so they were kind of referencing that song. It's a beautiful, beautiful song. And what inspired you to write a song like that?
When I decided to come out to the first album, I was looking for material. And a friend of mine played the instrumental to me. And I liked the group so much that I sat down and wrote the lyrics to that song.
It's such a happy song, and people have enjoyed it so many years. Still enjoy it to the day. Good to have you on GTV.
Still.
It's a great song. It's a great song. Did it make a lot of money? Did it make a lot of money for you?
At the time, not. Because there was a lot of piracy and bootlegging at that time. So the song became a hit, but they make so much money from the sales.
Is it too late now?
Who knows? Maybe one day we'll rebrand it and put it out.
All right. So of all the things that you've done and that have happened to you in your life, one of them is going to be, you're going to call yourself author, because you've written a book, From Fame to Shame.
To Shame.
We'll talk about that book in a short while. But I just want to find out, let's go back a bit. Who were you before everybody knew that this was the singing, dancing, instrument playing machine? What was life like before fame?
I guess I was born a natural dancer, so dancing has always been part of me from when I could walk. I was dancing already. So from home, I was already famous within the family, and everybody knew me. And anytime we had visitors, everybody would want to invite me to come and dance. Then gradually started going through the neighborhood and into the streets. And that's how my fame grew as a performer.
Where was home for you, and how far back in time was this?
This started from the late 60s, 70s.
Okay, and where was home?
And home was all over. Home was all over because my parents were teachers, so we had different towns and cities that we lived in at any particular time.
Okay, just curious, where and where did you stay?
Stayed in Nkoko, stayed in Brikum, we went to Cape Coast, we, so many places. I can't even remember them. Asamankese was one of them. Insaom was another place. But Insaom was very brief for me. By that time, I'd come to settle in Accra, and Accra became the main thing. Lived in Kumasi briefly, and then I was shipped to Bolgatanga at one point.
For doing something good or bad? What took you to Bolga?
For being troublesome in the south. So they said, take him to the north, where you can have no disco or anything like that.
So what was trouble for your folks who shipped you out? What was trouble as far as you were concerned?
Yeah, because my parents didn't want me going out dancing. They were educators and they wanted me to be in academia, I guess. So to want to be a musician was not their cup of tea.
What did they want you to be?
I don't know. What most Ghanaian parents want their children to be, a doctor, a lawyer, something like that.
So would you call yourself a rebel back at that stage of your life?
A rebel, of course.
All right. And so then you're progressing in your entertainment world. When did you get the name G-Man?
G-Man came about when I got to Europe and I had to change. Okay, when I started, my performing name was Afro Ajiman because my name is Nana Ajiman. So Nana Ajiman was the name that I used to perform till I used to have a lot of Afro hair. So then they figured in the 70s, everybody is an Afro. So the name Afro, like Afro Moses.
Yeah, yeah.
I had, yeah, so I have Afro Ajiman for a while here. And then when I got to Europe, the Ajiman was too long for the Europeans to pronounce. So I shortened it to G-Man. And that's how the name G-Man came to stay.
Tell us, for those who don't even have an idea, what is it like to be famous?
Wow. Yeah, it's you have fans, you have people that adore you, you have people that want to be around you, you're easily recognized wherever you are. And I guess it comes with all the trappings of being famous.
What were some of the crazy things you got up to when you were famous?
I used to like very fast cars, sports cars, to be precise. I love driving, I love cars, so my thing was into cars. And I used to race a lot with my cars.
You'd race where?
Any highway that I can get.
Which
if anybody overtakes me, I'll make sure I'll chase you from here to Kumasi and overtake you just to prove a point that my car is faster. That's how crazy I used to do.
And you did this where in Europe?
Anywhere. On the autobahns of Germany, wherever I get the space, I would race anybody. I think I thought in my mind I was a racing driver.
Did you ever crash? Did you ever crash?
Once, but I wasn't racing. The only crash I had was I fell asleep. I was coming from a gig in Stuttgart and I was very tired. So I fell asleep and by the time I came back, I realized I was heading for the railings in the middle. So I did a sharp turn and the vehicle took off and somersaulted about 5 times.
Thank God you survived.
I did. God loves me so much. That's why my name is now G-Love.
We'll get to that in a short while. And so there was the fast cars, there was a lot of money, women.
Yeah, yeah.
Tell us a wild story about women when you were famous.
It would be like trying to say certain things in the past that are not very nice to say. So we'll leave the women aspect, but definitely women, because I never used to drink, smoke, or do any drugs. So women were things that I was into back in the day.
And were they into you?
Very much so. I think they were more into me than I was even into them.
How do you know?
Because you get it for free. That's how you know.
So it's a wild life, and did you say you were having fun then, in those times? Were you having fun?
I thought it was fun. I thought everything was fun back then. Looking back now, I see that I was just silly. But, when you're young and you're rich, everything is fun to you.
Give us a sense of how young you were when all this happened, all the women, all the wine, all the money, the fast cars. How young were you?
Well, I left Ghana when I was 17 years old, and I was living by myself. And I started making money from that time. My parents were not there, and I was in charge. So that's how young I was when I started.
Nobody to advise you?
When you're successful in doing something, you don't have experienced grown-ups around you, nobody really advises you. Because you're your own man and you do your own thing. And fame has a way of making you think you're smarter than others around you.
So tell us about your
Because I've heard somebody,
a
local artist saying, I am the one that pays my manager. Therefore, my manager cannot tell me what to do because I'm the one that is bringing the money in. And when I heard that, I laughed. I kind of laughed because I knew he didn't know what he was saying.
What was the truth?
The truth is that somebody knows better than you do. And you should always be humble enough to listen.
So at the height of your fame, you had it all, you thought, and then you returned to Ghana. What brought you to Ghana for the events that led to your incarceration? What brought you home?
I had wanted to come and settle partially and set up a production house here to produce the up-and-coming talent that we have in this country, and that was what brought me at the time.
So what took you to death row? Was a killing of a taxi driver with a gun that was it your gun? Was it licensed to you?
No, somebody gave it to me.
Who gave the gun?
A police officer.
Why?
Because he said the area had just moved into, there were a lot of armed robberies at the area, so I needed to protect the house with a gun. And I bought into it. If I had known what I know today. Domi CFC.
Okay.
At the time. Yeah.
But
and if I know what I... go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm saying that if I knew what I know today, I would never have had a gun.
Did you know how to shoot a gun?
No.
So you never took lessons?
No.
Did the police officer show you what to do?
I think the basic that, this is how it works, and that's about it.
Did you ever practice?
No.
But so what happened? Where did you keep the gun on you when you were moving around?
I think most of the time it was with somebody else. I barely had it on me personally.
So on the day of the shooting, what happened? So the gun was with that person?
No, the gun was in my bedroom.
So you went to pick up, you had an argument with this taxi driver over a fare. And...
and the rest, as you know, is history. I don't really want to go.
Yes, I know. So
the case because
I'm summarizing.
You don't want to open old wounds.
Yeah. So the summary is that there was an altercation. This person was shot, and
that led to the demise of
the taxi driver. Person. And so you were arrested on that day immediately.
Yes.
Okay. What was it like first night in the police cell? What was going through your mind?
What was going through my mind was that what happened was an accident, which I did not plan. My intention was to frighten him, and it did not happen that way. It did not end up that way. So I was confused and sorrowful, and I had to give my life to the Lord because I didn't know what was coming.
But wait, so you gave your life to the Lord on the first day?
That very night.
That night?
That very night.
Who led you to the Lord? Who led you to the Lord?
That's a good question. People have asked me many times. You see, when you're a little boy and you go out and mess around outside with somebody and they want to beat you, Kafu, what do you do? You naturally will run home, right?
Yeah.
Why do you run home? Because you know that once you get inside your compound, you're safe. So when the devil slaps you, you'll find your way to God.
So can you remember the prayer you prayed?
Oh, I accepted Jesus. You see, before then, anytime somebody says, give your life to Jesus Christ, I would just say, oh yes, I've accepted Jesus as my Lord and personal Savior. It was my way of getting people off my back with that. But my mom had always taken us to church. So I knew God, but I was not born again. So on that night, I just had to ask the Lord into my life as my Lord and personal Savior and committed my life to him absolutely and totally. That was it.
What did you feel after you made that commitment?
Oh, I had peace. because I knew that I was in a safe place now. The Bible says that the name of the Lord is a strong tower and the righteous runneth into it and are safe. So right from that day, I was at peace.
Did you believe you'd be acquitted? You'd be set free?
No, I didn't believe I would be set free, but I believe that I would have been found guilty of manslaughter and not murder.
So what did you plead when you went to court?
Accidental.
Accidental death?
Yes.
Who defended you?
I had lawyer Frank Davis as my lawyer.
Did you have confidence in him?
Yes. He was a friend before the incident.
And how long did the process take?
Yeah, go ahead. The odds were against me from day one.
Mm-hmm.
Why? If you read my book, there's a chapter. If you read my book, there's a chapter called Emotional versus Rational. Okay, Ghanaians are more emotional than rational. So once something happens, and I've proven this point with a stunt I proved just to prove this point 2 days ago. 2 days ago, maybe about three days ago, and you know the trending news about me on social media now is that I'm here to marry somebody. And that was not it. I just wanted to show how emotional Ghanaians are.
So delay is not going to be your wife.
What I said, people just did not analyze what I said, and it was just a joke, and they are running with it.
Okay,
that's how Ghanaians are, and it was just to prove a point in the book, right? That once people hear things, they don't even stop to analyze what happened, how did this come about. But the moment you hear G-Man has done this, they just run with it. So I was convicted before I even stood trial.
Okay, so you get sentenced. Can you remember the name of the judge who sentenced you?
His name was Justice Fred Palu.
When you heard the words sentence, what was going through your mind? So G-Love G-Man is our guest on GTV Breakfast, 055-556-1034. You can send in your comments, but what you've heard so far, this is a gentleman who accidentally shot and killed a taxi driver years ago in the 90s, mid-90s, was sentenced to 14 years, sentenced to death. He stayed on death row for 14 years until he was pardoned by former President Kufuor, and he has written a book called From Fame to Shame, which he's promoting, which will be coming out pretty soon, and we're just getting the story of his life so far. I will get through to the messages that we have on WhatsApp so far. 055-556-1034, described by the Chronicle as the most notorious musician in the country, and the book that he is written chronicles the story of his life from the height of fame, where it was fast cars and women and wine and wildness, to being sent into Nsawam prison, where he was now a number 165/96, inmate number 165/96, on death row, awaiting execution at any time by hanging, because that's what was happening back in the day. With stories from his life and cautionary tales for those who, in a moment of madness, can have everything changed in their lives. It's a conversation that we shall be continuing pretty soon, right here on GTV Breakfast, and still to come is a conversation with another musician, top musician, who is already in the studio and watching with his eyes fixed to the screen. We'll be speaking with Kofi T in a short while. Val will do that conversation. But we'll get back to G-Love G-Man, who is now a pastor. Says he was converted. He gave his life to Jesus Christ. And on the day that he spent his first day in the cells, awaiting the trial and the conviction and all of that stuff. And he still is in the music business, but as a gospel musician, and he's written a new book, From Fame to Shame, which should be on the bookshops pretty soon. And as soon as we connect back to him, we shall be giving you the rest of the conversation. So enjoy his music. This is High Life in G Major, to which he wrote the words. Music by Wally Badaru, Beninois musician, and covered by musicians around the world. Enjoy High Life in G Major. We'll come back with the conversation pretty shortly. Pastor G-Love G-Man. I can call you pastor, right?
Yes, I am a pastor.
All right. So you're shipped off to Insawam to spend what could have been the rest of your life, or awaiting execution.
No. Our execution.
Yes, awaiting execution.
I wasn't sentenced. Yes.
Yeah. So what's it like to be on death row?
There isn't words to describe being on death row, because every day of your life, you know you can be executed once the president signs a death warrant. So there is no words. If I say I can describe how it feels like, I'll be lying. But there's just no words.
Were any of your cellmates at some point in time taken away to be killed?
No, at the period that I was there, nobody was executed by the state, but most of them died because the conditions there alone can kill you before your time.
So paint a picture of a typical day. What time do you wake up on death row? And what do you do during the day?
Yeah, well, the time you wake up is your own time. You know, most of the times you cannot even sleep because you're sleeping in a space of 12 inches. That means you're sleeping on your side. You can't sleep on your back because of congestion. So we don't sleep much. The doors are open after 6 a.m. when the morning shift officers take over. So once the doors are open, everybody runs to the bathroom to try and go and occupy a space, be in a queue to go do number 2, etc., etc.
And then what happens? So how do you pass your time on death row? What do you do in the day?
Well, there's nothing to do. So we have morning devotions by the Christians, and then there's nothing. Then at 11 we go to Bible studies, again organized by the inmates ourselves, and then you sit down and do nothing. So I spend my time studying the Word of God. And that was where I did my Bible schooling.
All these stories are captured in your book, From Fame to Shame. Why did you pick that title?
Yeah, because that title better fits my book and my life. It's an autobiography. So this is it. I wanted the message to be loud and clear. You can't miss it.
What are the things that you lost with your 14? Because 14 years is a pretty long time. What did you lose?
I lost everything. I almost lost my life. So you can imagine. The most important thing is the life. And once the life is taken, there's nothing. I lost everything, practically everything. I can't quantify it. The only reason I'm still alive and well is the grace found me and preserved me and gave me a second chance. And that's the only reason I'm still here.
What surprised you most about the 14 years you spent locked away from human beings?
Say that again.
What surprised you most about the 14 years you spent on death row?
Well, what surprised me is the way people quickly change when your story changes. I didn't know that. And that is the one lesson that I learned in life. You see, the Bible says that cursed be a man that puts his trust in man. But I didn't even know that till I went into the troubles that I went through. Then it made a lot of sense to me. So people change at the drop of the hat when your story changes.
Who stood by you the longest from day one till now?
I guess my mom and my immediate family. There were some friends that were on and off. As a matter of fact, the friends fell out as time went on. But God in his infinite mercy brought people also in along the years. And it was another lesson that the Lord taught me, that some people are in your life for a season, and when their time is over, they're gone.
When did your ex-wife go?
After 8 years.
Was she visiting?
Yes.
And did she tell you that she was going, and why?
It was time for her to move on, because her family wanted her to move on.
Okay, so she just asked for a divorce or something? How did it work out? How did you know that she...
Yeah, exactly. Oh, no, she came and told me.
Okay. Is she still alive?
Yes.
Is she in touch?
No.
Would you like to speak to her one day?
Maybe.
What was the first thing you would tell her?
Thank you.
For what?
For her support.
Even though she left you after 8 years?
It wasn't her fault.
Whose fault was it?
My fault. Most marriages, most people that get convicted, will not survive 5 years of marriage. It's not easy. Once you're convicted, it's like your whole family are convicted as well. So it's not only you who suffers, but the family also suffers.
How about Jackie? When was the last time you spoke to him?
Last week.
Are you friends?
No.
But why did you speak to somebody who is not your friend?
Because I was on an interview and the station called him.
Did you want to speak to him?
I spoke to him. I mean, we spoke.
But did you want to?
Yeah, but it's not my... I don't have much to speak about. You speak to people that you have a relationship with. You don't just go around speaking to everybody else. But there's no relationship between me and him. So, but, that is what it is.
Okay. And now the family of the gentleman who lost his life, unfortunately, what's the state of play between you and them? Are you in touch with them?
Oh, they're the reason I got pardoned. They were the people that wrote to the ex-president, His Excellency John Ejikuku for my pardon. So I am in good standings with them, and I thank God for their lives and their kindness.
Do you still dream about that day when everything went horribly wrong?
I don't dream about it, but I do remember. I do remember everything that day and wish things were different. But hey, this is life. Nobody knows tomorrow. That's one of the things that I've learned. Nobody knows tomorrow. You'll never know tomorrow. You're here today, but tomorrow is not yours. So if every day you wake up, you have to give thanks to God that you're still counted among the living, because you never know tomorrow. Somebody left home today and is not coming back home. Somebody went to the hospital yesterday and did not come back home. Somebody went to give birth, never returned. So in life, we don't know what's going to happen next. So don't take life for granted.
If you're not marrying delay, what's the love life like right now? If you're not marrying delay, what's happening, man?
Yeah, I am single because I lost my wife 4 years ago, and hopefully I'll be marrying soon.
Do you have a candidate?
Still looking.
What kind of woman do you want?
Still searching.
What kind of woman do you want?
I can't say that on air. That's not a very nice thing to say.
G-Man, so when is your book coming out, From Fame to Shame?
The book, this huge book here, will be coming very soon. Yeah, it's 350 pages inside this book. Okay. And it should be coming out pretty soon. I'm talking to my team. After this program, we have meetings today, and I believe it will be in December. The dates have not been finalized, but I believe it's going to be in December.
Described by the Chronicle musician as the most notorious musician in the country, with a death row number of 165/96. Now a preacher, a pastor, and an author.
Let me tell you something interesting about the Chronicle thing.
Yes.
You know, the editor of the Chronicle is Nana Kofi. And this publication came out when the incident happened. Okay. And interestingly, he became my cellmate at James Ford prison, and we shared cell together.
Okay.
And I was his pastor that led him to the Lord. And he tells a very funny story that is in this book. One night we were doing Bible studies, and he asked me, Pastor G-Man, where was Jesus Christ, when he was 15 years and we didn't hear about him till... I said, well, the Bible is silent. And he says, I know where Jesus was. I said, where? Mr. Kofi Kumsin. And he said, Jesus was in Lagos.
Why? What story?
I don't know. So it's in this book.
All right. We're looking forward to that book, Jesus in Lagos, man. Pastor G-Love, G-Man, with the incredible story of your life. Look out for the book, From Fame to Shame. Thank you so much for the opportunity of sharing some painful memories, but also telling us the good stuff as well. We wish you the best, and invite us to the wedding. We'll come and cover it.
Thank you so very much, and God bless you, and have a wonderful weekend.
I wish you the same, man. God bless.
Thank
you so much. That was G-Man right here on GTV Breakfast. Still to come, coffee and tea, and more music from Chin Bad. Don't go anywhere.
Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show.
Who heard me here to say the way she has some I say?
Show no smacks me. But you check us through, man, and cut out when
how the world has changed. Like COVID, yes.
Chumwa when a bus and panic now.
Chumwa is not nice. She's not a nice person. Wherever she goes, trouble, negativity follows.
That only I mean cool. Just a new idea. A big boy, I may have come to COVID-19. Watermelon, pineapple, orange. Yeah. Tita na ekoso wo fie ha
okuma no de na be fie na o titin wo hodo onu e na o de entertain be fie ha.
Not play a smart game on guys of today. Trust me, girl, they'll never respect you.
I see boys they fear marriage. Wow.
My brother, your woman is making use of your brain.
Me, Mama V, now get some chemi.
Jimmy, man, to be aso.
Our real pass is here, buddy. Me okay.
I don't give my number to strangers. I am sorry.
I'm not a stranger.
From now onwards, if you want to date at least 10.
Smart game.
Anywhere around me with girl, if I see your shadow, you go feel that.
The woman see the place or something. Why you come buy with the 20 cities? See the price 60 cities.
You want to surprise me with a car, and then you ask me for 7,000 Ghana cedis.
Bible say okwasia.
Are you guys know the guys as well the guys who are there?
Smart Game, a series directed and produced by Edge Michael, showing soon on GTV.
And they call me UJ. When you need a shoulder to cry, one of my pumpers, so we try to suicide. Yeah, let bygone be bygone. I didn't see what the bottom gonna do, we dey go straight to start. I'm gonna take you to next level. My baby, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Energy next level. My baby, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Take you to next level. My baby, oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't code next level. Excessive drinking can be detrimental. Not recommended for persons under 18 years, lactating mothers, pregnant women, and people sensitive to caffeine. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Are you ready? It's heat hot and we are serving you breakfast. A la carte.
It's a brand new packaged breakfast served on GTV, our style, keeping you on track and updated on news, making the headlines, how to navigate traffic,
what's up with the weather,
your health check, getting you up to speed on lifestyle,
sports,
word of showbiz, what's hot and what's not.
It's our date in the morning just for you, with the team you can trust.
It's breakfast weekdays at 6 a.m.
Don't be late. Are you ready? It's heat.
So today I'm not sitting on the yellow couch, but we promised you something amazing, and from what the Chinchin band have been doing, it's amazing stuff. We're talking more high life. So like we've been announcing during the show, I have none other than Kofi Nti in studio with me. Kofi Nti, what's up? It is saying,
I'm okay. Won't hear me.
There were one I've forgotten, but laugh, yeah. F1.
F1, yeah,
That's it. So guys, we have Kofi Nti in studio. I know it's been a while since we saw him. Kofi, where have you been?
I'm around, you know. I think it's been a while, but doing something else apart from the music.
But the music, is still there.
High life doesn't die or never dies. Yeah. So I think I've made a lot of music, songs, and it's still raining.
Pause on that. Okay. Let's have a feel of Kofi Nti in studio. Which song are you going to do for us? Let's refresh the memories of Ghanaians.
Or Donyum or Sweetie Pa.
Choose your choice. It's Friday, guys. Kofi Nti.
That's right. Woo! Let's go. This is the opportunity.
Yeah, with it.
Feel the music in Chin Chin.
I like I thought I told you. This is straight from Ghana. This a boy Kofi Nti. Give it up. Usheni kasa, nenanti meduma, mipaso komo woro. Na eku noel, nenanti meduma, mipaso komo woro. Na eku noel, itini senko, oda sumo. Itini senko, oda sumo. Come on. Sendo shiki, oh, Shiva. I thought I told you. This is serious highlight from your boy GTV. Woo. Hey, come on. That's right. Woo. And now listen to this. 2, 3, 3. Who do you see? Sure. That's my dream. Although it could be you. Me day. Would you see children at my dream? And it's a new casa. Praise you are. Would you see children at my dream? Send your casa from your door. Send your bar from your door. My India said from your door. That's a good masoon. Who do you see? Children at my key. Or the way. Makasa. Who do you see? Via Kamanu. Imantie. Timishawa. Kasama Mituni. Only your voice. Kasama Mituni. Or the brand new feel from the man I go for alongside all for real, and the man in the disappear too. So we rocking on the dance of 2004 and beyond. The Rusty, me I they tell you, we run things never run we. Me I they tell you, we run things never run we. Yo, freedom. Mommy, I'm dog. Send your bar. Mommy, I'm dog. My yes, mommy, I'm dog.
So you cannot get this anywhere except on the Friday edition of GTV Breakfast. Live in studio is Kofinti and the Inchinchim band right here. Kofinti, we know you've been around, you've been away for a while, right? But we do know that you have some advice for young people who are coming up in the music industry, because you want them to know that apart from music, which is a profession, you should have a second profession as a backup. Tell us what you're up to.
Yeah, what I would say to my friends or those upcoming musicians is that they have to have something to support them, not only the music. For example, let's look at somebody like Amachi Dede. He was having a big pub. That's what we call a Brantier Sport. He also had hotels. He has done a lot. Like Chidadi Lumba for Ramponsa, everybody is doing something apart from the music. So they should also find something to touch the music business.
Right. Sure. How are you doing without Kofi B?
Madam,
it was a close friend of yours.
I'm so sad whenever I hear or somebody mentioned Kofi B because we were like brothers. Yeah, we do everything together, and like the last thing I would say, I mean, God, I mean, keep his soul, I mean, perfect peace for me.
Okay, music-wise, what are some of the things you have up your sleeve? And now you totally stopped.
No. I have. I mean, I'm still recording. I was about to, I mean, bring out an album before the incident happened. That's Kofi B's incidents. But now, I have done an album, maybe, or let's say, by next month it will be live.
What do you think about live musical performance? I'm saying this because Nchinchim is amazing, and performing with them for the first time, no?
They are too good.
How did you find them?
I mean, I'm impressed with them because having even rehearsed with them and look at how they play the music, everything is, I mean, they've done well, and I mean, they are great.
When you were the big names in High Life, we did not have social media. We did not have the power of the internet. Now that the internet is here and social media is here, what are your thoughts on social media?
Yeah, I think it's very good. And it has, I mean, helped the upcoming or everybody, and like in a decade or in sometimes things get changed.
Sure.
So I think it's helping. And one thing I don't like is Ghanaians, African, we like to use the social media instead of using it to do good things.
Positive things.
Yeah, positive things, but it's all good. I mean,
where do we find you on social media?
You can get me on Kofi Inti. Kofi Inti, that's my Facebook.
Yes.
And Kofi_Inti GH, that's my Instagram. So
Ready. The weekend is here. We are looking to unwind. How many songs are you going to perform for us?
Oh, I think I've done one, so let's see. Let me add another half to it.
Okay, no. You have the rest of the show. So,
yeah,
guys, we are going to enjoy more music from Kofi Inti.
Sure.
You have them, Nchinchim and Kofi Inti for you guys.
That's right. High Life time.
Feel the music.
African movie.
Are you ready? It's heat hot, and we are serving you breakfast. A la carte.
It's a brand new packaged breakfast served on GTV, our style, keeping you on track and updated on news, making the headlines, how to navigate traffic,
what's up with the weather,
your health check, getting you up to speed on lifestyle,
sports,
word of showbiz, what's hot and what's not.
It's our date in the morning just for you, with the team you can trust.
It's breakfast weekdays at 6 a.m.
Don't be late.